Hey guys, welcome back to the Horror, as always, with your host with the most, Jennifer. Welcome back. Thank you again, you guys, for checking me out. I greatly appreciate it. So today, what we're going to be talking about is a movie that I actually am not really the biggest fan of. And that movie, if you couldn't tell by the title of this video, is Freddy vs. Jason. This was kind of maybe inspired a little bit by my video yesterday, talking about Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Because you guys know I really, really enjoyed that movie. Here's an example of a movie that just really doesn't do it for me. Now, this movie, as we all know, came out back in the summer of 2003. I believe it was August. And the only reason I remember that is because that was the year I had graduated from high school. So I graduated like end of May, and that was like the big thing. That was like the big buzz among like my friends and stuff, is that this movie was finally coming out. Had to wait pretty much all summer for it and everything. We all wanted to, graduate. I think we were more excited, honestly, about this movie coming out than we were actually about graduating high school, which is kind of weird. Like only a crossover movie could do that. But and like when I first saw it, I was kind of like, okay, it's kind of cool, but over the years and as I watched it, really interesting. It's like the more I watched it, the less I liked it. And it's a shame. It is really a shame that I do not like this one. I just the movie I feel like is just pretty eh. Eh. It's and I know, we all know that this was in development for years and years and years and years and years. It went through script after script after script after script. And I feel like you guys went through all these scripts, and this is what we ended up getting. I don't know. It's not that great of a movie, which is unfortunate because, like I said, this is something that we had been waiting for decades. Yeah, decades. Almost 2 decades to be exact. So 19 years we were waiting for this. And it just, I think when it first hit, it was kind of like, ooh, ooh, ooh. But once again, like I said, it's like, at least with me, the more I view it, the less I really enjoy it, and really just dislike it even more. Now, nothing wrong with really the cast itself. Quite a few of the cast members, have done other things. I think were great in the other things that they've done, but this movie, even some of the casting choices, couldn't quite save this. I feel like, with the exception of like Kelly Rowland, like I feel like Kelly Rowland, like I know at the time, like Destiny's Child was really big and everything. They wanted, and this was time where, we also had Halloween Resurrection with Tyra Banks and Busta Rhymes. So they're trying to like incorporate more like hipper things, crossover to a broader audience and everything, which is great. I think they should do that, but I'm sorry, but I really don't know that many Destiny Child fans that are gonna be like, ooh, Kelly Rowland's in Freddy vs. Jason, let's go see it. No, they want to go see Bootylicious. No disrespect to her. I mean, a couple of like Destiny's Child songs, I'll admit, say my name, whatever. But whatever. So like even the characters though themselves, like the characters themselves, I feel like most, if not all of them, are just pretty generic. Like they're supposed to be a little different from each other because we all know that in each franchise there's always kind of the goofball, sort of the nerd, the popular girl, the pretty girl, the kind of rebel girl, maybe the promiscuous girl and stuff. And like you could see that they were trying to do that with these characters, but they were just all really kind of flat. Like Catherine Isabel's character, Gib. I love Catherine Isabel. I love her. I think she's a great actress. She's done some great horror movies, but like her character, the way that they like dressed her up and everything, like she would have like that hat and everything, it'd be a little off. But I just felt like it was her character was made up as though like one of the popular girls who was dressing that way because that was the hip way to dress at that time. Just very flat and everything. Once again, like I said, nothing against Catherine Isabel. I'm not slating her for that or anything. It just, unfortunately, she had the task of being in this movie. And it's also unfortunate that we kind of had like the storyline that we did. I think parts of it sort of could have worked, but overall, pretty much the entire story just kind of sucked. You know, like trying to get Jason to sort of put some fear in these kids to bring himself back. I feel like may have kind of worked a little bit. I know we sort of saw that with Freddy's Dead and everything, but I feel like okay, it didn't really work with Freddy's Dead. It's really not going to work with this crossover. It really isn't. You can't really, you know. Um, but I in the movie they somehow make it work where the kids are now scared of Freddy and everything, and they start kind of like remembering him, even though no one knows about him, even though um, he died like 11 years before. Like, really? Everyone forgot about it over 11 years or 12 years or whatever it was? Whatever. I feel like they could have really taken this opportunity to maybe written in some of like past characters from either franchise. And I know from the Friday 13th aspect, that would have been a little tougher because I know that they had the rights to Friday 13th, Paramount, or not Paramount, New Line Cinema did, but I think there might have been a couple of things that they couldn't do, like they could continue on with the Friday the 13th franchise, but I think something like they couldn't necessarily use like past characters or past footage or something like that, so that probably is a big factor for not being able to kind of bring back some of the Friday 13th characters and put them in this movie. But, it would have been interesting to at least kind of see that, have a couple characters from the Nightmare series, a couple from the Friday series, and see them trying to, like, take down both of these juggernauts. I think that would have been really more what the audience is looking for. Probably would have satisfied the audience a lot more, even if we couldn't quite get the same actors and actresses to portray these characters. I think people would have been a little like miffed about that, but I think over time, I think we would have been like, okay, we understand why. Plus, I mean, honestly, in both franchises, there's been a couple of character storylines that have been in multiple movies in both franchises. For example, Kristen, who we first met in Nightmare on Part 3, played by Patricia Arquette. Number 4, same character is in it, but Patricia Arquette, for money reasons, was replaced by Tuesday Night. Tuesday Night, she's not quite my favorite, but I did feel like she did a pretty good job at portraying that character and everything. You didn't quite feel the same emotional connection with her or even between the characters. But you know what? She owned it. She did a decent job. I'm not going to slate her for that either. Same thing with the Tommy Jarvis character that we saw in Friday the 13th, where, we first meet the Tommy Jarvis character in Part 4, played by Corey Feldman, then was replaced in Part 5 by another actor, which I cannot think of his name. I should have looked it up. I apologize. And then was replaced again in Part 6 by Tom Matthews, who I think Tom Matthews actually did a really good job playing the Tommy Jarvis character. So you know, even like that, or even if we could get someone like Tommy Jarvis to come back and like one last time be like, you know what, I thought I beat you. I am taking you down, Jason. I'm taking this Freddy MFer down with it with you too. So that would be kind of cool. You know, or even see like Amy Steele back in from Friday 2. Characters from, you know, the Nightmare franchise. Easily we could have Alice back because she was definitely a very big contributor, very good storyline, I feel, in both movies that she was featured in. I mean, even Kristen, even though Kristen met her demise in part 4 of Nightmare, you know, I feel like even if it was like some sort of like dream state, or like if he had Alice, bringing Alice in, or like having Alice bring Kristen in from like a dream or something, and Kristen kind of is like advising her like, hey, you know, you got this, you know, you've done it before, you know, you succeeded me and stuff, blah blah blah. You know, some stuff like that I think they could have easily done, but they didn't. You know, I feel like it's pretty basic. Like just look at both franchises. Both of them have great aspects about them. Have some high points, and both have some pretty low points, which you know all franchises do. But this one, I just feel like you know, and plus two, we had a director who uh, didn't self-admittedly never watched either franchises, not even a single one, and decided to just kind of like, whatever, dude. You know, I would think that if you get this job, I would think that you would at least try to like watch as much as you can from both series. So that way, if you look at the script, you could be like, wait a second, hang on. You know, are you sure you want to do this? Just saying, just saying. I mean, even if he saw both franchises and he was kind of like, you know what, I know it's a battle between the both, but, you know, I kind of like the Nightmare series a little more. I still respect that. I really do, because a lot of us are, you know, who are fans of both franchises are easily like, well, yeah, I kind of like this one more. Like, I admit, I like the Friday 13th franchise a little bit more. I'm not going to hate on someone who likes the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise more than Jason. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It just that's me though. That's me. But you know, I feel like it has not stood the test of time, which is unfortunate because once again we waited for decades for this, and it just sucks. Some of the things though that I do kind of like that they did, like big thing was the Weston Hills psych ward. I like that they, you know, included that. They kind of kept at least something from the Nightmare series, plus the medication that they were on, the Hypnosil. I like that they still carried that over as well, because you know that us fans, if they changed either one of those, we would have had like a shit fit about it and been like, really? Really? You know, and like they also kind of did the mother thing with Jason, but it was just more of like a dream ploy done by Freddy. I mean, so they kind of did tie that in a little bit. And then somehow Freddy, or not Freddy, Jason was terrified of water all of a sudden. Because wasn't he just like swimming in part 8 to catch up to those kids after they got off the boat? He's suddenly scared of water. You know, like things like that. I just feel like the movie itself is just filled with so many inconsistencies throughout the movie from the franchises themselves. Like when you compare them to the franchises, that it's like, no wonder why it sucks. You know, in the ending, like I don't really have a problem with the ending itself. You know, because I know that their thinking was, well, if you kill one or the other, you're gonna really upset, you know, like pretty much half the audience, and you know, you don't really want to do that. I respect that. I would have liked to have seen maybe a clear cut winner, because, quite honestly, we all know that you could kill these guys a million times; they're gonna keep coming back. but whatever. But yeah, that's just kind of my like thing. You know, and I think that like we need to do a redo on this movie, not a remake. Don't get me wrong, we do not need a remake. We need a redo. We need a redo on this before Robert Englund gets too old. And no disrespect to Ken Kersner. I think he did a great job in this movie. I really do. But honestly, that's another thing is Freddy versus Jason. We're expecting, obviously, Robert Englund because he's Freddy. But most of us fans, and I know we all have our favorite Jason. Many of us enjoy Kane Hodder. I think many of the other Jasons have done a wonderful job, including Ken Kersner as Jason. But quite honestly, Freddy versus Jason, really, we're expecting Robert Englund versus Kane Hodder. That's what we're expecting. So that's just me. That's me, though. Let me know what you guys think. Even if you guys love this movie, still love this movie today, it satisfies your crossover needs and everything. I want to know. You guys know how I am. I love hearing from you. I love knowing what you think of stuff. But anyways, thank you once again for letting me kind of share my thoughts on a movie. And this also kind of proves that there are movies that I just do not enjoy because I know I do a lot of videos talk about stuff I truly enjoy, but this one just over time does not do it for me. But till next time, you guys, stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.